And one of the things that actually was remarkable that President Trump said minutes ago, that he literally trusts the Saudis. And he frankly reminded me of what the father of history, Herodotus said 2,500 years ago. He said, no people honor their pledges more than the Arabs. And Saudi Arabia is the cradle of the Arab civilization. So overall, President Trump, I believe, is an extraordinary leader, the kind you see in America once in a lifetime. The same is true for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Both are realist, pragmatic, patriotic reformers who are also laser focused on prosperity for their people. And I believe what happens between the US and Saudi Arabia never stays between them alone. It shapes global security and global economic prosperity. And we know for decades, Saudi Arabia and America have stood together. We fought communism together. We fought terrorism together. And we stabilized the global energy markets together. So, and I think right now, as your guest mentioned, that artificial intelligence becomes somehow the new driver of global power, and AI may become actually the next big bridge between Riyadh and Washington. And from a Saudi perspective, we firmly believe that American security contributes directly to global security, and American prosperity supports global prosperity. A stable United States means a more stable world. And as the American philosopher and founding father Thomas Paine said, the cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind. And there are four major things actually the Saudis want from the United States, and four things that President Trump wants from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, I summarize it as FAND, F-A-N-D. F stands for F-35 jets, as you've mentioned. The A is artificial intelligence and semiconductor access. And the N stands for nuclear cooperation, peaceful nuclear plants, etc. And also the D stands for the defense agreement, the long-term defense agreement between Saudi Arabia and the United States. And it's going to be a mutual defense. It's not going to be like from one side to another only. So, and also when it comes to the U.S. demands, based on the reports and based on also what we have heard, I can summarize it as NICE, which is, we always appreciate niceness, N-I-C-E. N stands for normalization with Israel. Definitely, when it comes to Saudi, it should be under the right conditions. I stands for investment ties, which is something that has been taking a big chunk of the meetings. And C stands for China military decoupling in sensitive sectors, and definitely E stands for energy stability, which the Saudis have proved themselves in this field for decades. And definitely not everything will be finalized on today's visit, but the goal is progress, momentum, and a shared recognition.
So hang on again, Salman. We just had 20 days of naval exercises between Saudi Arabia and China, a defense pact with the United States. Does that mean we won't be seeing any more of those kinds of exercises, that the U.S. is going to ask the Saudis to take their foot off the gas when it comes to deepening ties with Beijing?
That's actually a good question. And today, Riyadh is aligning, I would say, aligning its foreign policy with its geography. I don't know if there is a word for that, but we sit at the crossroads of continents, trade routes, energy flows, emerging technologies, etc. So balance is not a slogan for us, it's a necessity. And the United States remains a key partner in this balanced approach, that's for sure. But definitely, as we know, China 30 years ago used to be the biggest trading partner for 20 countries. Right now, it's the biggest trading partner for more than 125 countries, including the United States. Actually, on top of them is the United States. So it's a reality on the ground. But definitely for the Saudis, we always appreciate the security partnership of the United States. We believe in the U.S. technology.
So it's America first.
It's always Saudi first for us. And that's why we actually synchronize with America, because America first, and we hope it's going to remain America first. So, yeah, but okay. Definitely. This visit is historic for three major things. That this visit comes after three shifts in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia normalized relations with Iran, and also the Pakistani nuclear umbrella, and definitely the third is the regional and the global recognitions of Saudi Arabia's role in mediation, and we've seen this between Russia and the United States, and also its strong relations with China and Russia. So Saudi Arabia is going to play the balanced approach, but it will always appreciate and prioritize prioritize the United States for multiple reasons that are for the Saudi interest.
Salman al-Ansari, will Donald Trump stick to his own plan, or will he diverge when it comes to the Palestinians?
With regards to Gaza?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've seen the diversion, which is a positive one, as you mentioned, with the UN Security Council draft that has been sponsored by the United States with 8 other countries. And I believe that was actually a very good and positive step in the right direction, because we've seen how the Israeli government has tried so much for the last couple of years to make the two-state solution sound like the two-state delusion. But I think with this UN Security Council draft, we are putting, and the United States itself is putting the two-state solutions back on the table. Yes, definitely, we've seen how Netanyahu and his radical government has objected to it. The same goes with Hamas, and that shows how Hamas and Netanyahu are two sides of the same coin. So we need to sideline the obstacles as soon as possible to get the peaceful momentum going, because the Saudis, along with the French, with their French allies, have helped to create the biggest momentum for the recognition of Palestine. Right now, we have more than 159 countries. Most of Western European countries have recognized Palestine. So right now, the United States doesn't want to become isolated from the international community on this specific issue, because we are speaking like 4 out of the 5 Security Council permanent members are actually recognizing Palestine right now, except for the United States. So it's very embarrassing for the United States if they don't reactivate the solution of the two-state solution. Yes, I don't see it to be possible with the current Israeli government, but I think we need to keep up the momentum until we see how things will evolve, because at the end of the day, we really want to see the United States to be America first rather than Israel first. And I think Trump is working on that.
Salman al-Ansari, last question, because we're running short on time. Is Saudi Arabia now going to be more invested regionally going forward as a result?
Yeah, the Saudis have actually created a model of their own. Their project is development and prosperity for itself and for the region, because the Crown Prince has said it earlier. He said he wants to see the Middle East to be the new Europe. And how can you have the Middle East to be the new Europe without having all the countries around you to be prosperous? And so that's why the Saudis are actually putting all their weight behind all the countries that are trying to reform their institutions, etc., such as like Syria. Actually, with Syria, I remember a friend of mine is Syrian. He said, how can we pay you back as Saudis? How can we pay the Saudis back with regards to what they have done diplomatically to pressure and to convince the Trump administration to lift the sanctions? And I told him the only way to pay us back is to be successful. And he really loved the answer, because we really want the rest of the countries around us to be successful. But with regards to what Susan has said from Berlin, I agree a lot with a lot of what she said, just except for the part about the human rights, etc. In reality, Edelman Institution, which is an American institution here in the U.S., they have put Saudi Arabia for 3 years, consecutive years, as the country with the biggest government trust in the world, #1 in the world. So the majority of the Saudis are actually in complete synchronization with the government, and they really believe on its mission. We have been 92% dependent on oil 8 years ago. Right now, it's 48%. We are seeing a lot of reforms for women. Now it's the golden age for women, etc. And the World Bank report about women in business and law in 2020, they have marked and put Saudi Arabia as the top country with regards to the amount of reforms that we have created.
We'll be revisiting the situation domestically in Saudi Arabia going forward. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I want to thank you so much.
You guys are all welcome. Please come.
Okay, Salman al-Ansari, thank you for the invitation.